We all deserve fair pay for the work we do, and the right to safety, security, and healthcare. But one group of people in South Africa is often overlooked: sex workers. We currently have 4 available legal approaches to sex work. Let's take a quick look. The first is our current one: criminalization. This one's simple. Buying and selling sex or keeping a brothel is a criminal offense. At first, this may seem like a good idea. Sex work is often associated with drug use, abuse, and trafficking. But truth is, criminalization has a devastating impact. It forces sex workers underground, into the hands of drug pushers, pimps, and traffickers. They're targeted and victimized by the police, making them less likely to report even the most serious crimes. And because criminalization perpetuates stigma, even healthcare services may discriminate against sex workers, turning them away when treatment is needed. The second approach is partial criminalization, otherwise known as the Swedish model. Here, sex workers aren't criminalized, but their clients and brothel owners are. This may seem a better approach, as it points the finger of blame away from sex workers. But it doesn't address the stigma, nor the tough conditions where sex workers are still watched and harassed. Clients may become paranoid or abusive, and sex work is reluctant to report abuse or trafficking out of fear of arrest. And laws against brothel keeping mean sex workers can't work together, making their situation even less safe. To top it all off, there's simply no evidence the Swedish model works. The third approach is legalization. This is where sex work and brothel keeping is considered legal, but special laws and licensing are put in place. Surely this seems reasonable. Increased regulations and contact between sex workers, health services, and police can only improve their well-being. However, forced health tests and red tape push sex workers underground. Often, these will be vulnerable people like the homeless, those struggling with addiction, and transgender people. And as sex work still isn't considered a normal job under existing labor laws, sex workers aren't given the same protection other workers in SA enjoy. Finally, there's decriminalisation. This is where criminal charges are not only removed, but sex work between consenting adults is treated just the same as any other work. Sex work is brought under our current labor laws, giving workers the protection of basic health and safety, fair conditions of employment, and the power to unionize. The burden on policing costs is eased, and sex workers have the same responsibilities as other working people, like paying tax. And finally, working in organized groups is encouraged, helping sex workers feel safer and more empowered in their communities. At the Sex Workers Education and Advocacy Task Force, we believe decriminalization is the only approach that respects the human rights of sex workers themselves as enshrined in our Constitution. And we're not the only ones. Let's start the conversation today.